Hey guys, how's everybody? Happy New Year. Just a little shout out to anybody out there who might be feeling really weird today because I'm right there with you. Um, I'm back in work today, and the most I can liken it to is Alice in Wonderland, and I have fallen down the hole, and I'm looking up, and I can see everything out there, and I'm down in here in one reality, and there's a different reality out there. And yeah, it's just crazy. So that's how it's feeling right now. And just wanted you to know that, if you're feeling that way, you're not the only one. So very strange coming back here to Ireland. Very strange. After having been in such a dichotomy of strictness in one respect and absolute normalcy in one respect while I was away, and then coming back in here and seeing things the way that they are, and it's just bizarre. It's odd. I feel weird. Am I settled? Nope. My schedule hasn't flipped. I'm still awake at 6 o'clock in the morning, so I've got like the world's longest case of jet lag. And it's just really strange. And I'm coming in, and it's like I'm hearing people with a different ear. And so people are talking to me about their complaints, and it's like it's registering on one level. And then on another level, I'm sitting here just beside myself with, gosh, a realization of how little people actually know about the human body, how little people actually know about how functioning in this plane, this world, this dynamic actually works. And how so many people are just kind of walking through it like zombies, waiting for the next person to knock them into place or tell them what to do. And yeah, it's freaky. So I'm having a really strange day, and that's okay. Am I happy, positive, delighted to be alive? Absolutely. Can I acknowledge the fact that everything is super weird and very strange? Absolutely. It's something that all of us are going through. But yeah, it's just really weird coming back into this line of work where some of the things that we've been saying all along for as long as I've been a doctor, about the care of the human frame and how the body actually works and how we deal with different injuries and viruses and things like that, and watching people wake up and come around in varying degrees, and then watching people also spin the same narrative of something that's kind of played out now at this stage, and where facts and science are sitting in front of us and showing us that some of these old stories that we were using last year just simply don't work anymore. And that's okay, and we welcome people with open arms, but dang, man, it's like being in I feel like I'm in the Truman Show. It's like somebody's watching me react to somebody saying something that makes not just so little sense, but no sense at all. And that they're living their life and their dynamic and their world accordingly. And it's just really weird. And I'm like, I feel like I am a little rat inside of these four walls, and that there's cameras somewhere and people are watching me. That's what it feels like. Just to see how I'll react, because it has to be a joke. Yeah, so that's really fun, and that is my positive contribution today, because I know there are other people out there who just feel like completely upside down, inside out, and they're finding out that the world that they thought they were going to live in 2 years ago, it just simply doesn't exist any longer, and that in order to exist normally in the world, that some of the things they've signed up for, they're going to have to sign up for permanently. That's a big shock. It's a shock to anybody. I don't care where you are, what side of the fence you're on. It's just really wild. So, we just support each other in this bizarreness, and yeah, I'm just kind of taking it really easy with myself, and I'm kind of looking around going, I've got to change my environment a little bit, or I'm not going to make it this way, because one thing I found before I left for Christmas, after putting in a really, really long year of 6 days a week with very heavy days, is I realized the toll it took, not physically, but emotionally on me, because you can only hear somebody say something that makes absolutely no sense in your dynamic so many times. Might make complete sense in theirs, which is okay. But in this particular job, especially when you're seeing a lot of people intimately all day long, I realized that it really kind of took its toll on me. And so healing is changing for me. The capacity to interact one-on-one the way that I was I don't know that that's something I'm going to be able to do, for in a sustained period of time. So I'm changing it up, and I'm working on things behind the scenes because that's my responsibility, not anybody else's. So I have to make myself comfortable within the world that I'm living in. It's not the government's responsibility. It's not a doctor's responsibility. It's my responsibility. And so, I'm just in here, and it's kind of validating. It doesn't mean I'm going to leave completely, but I'm going to do it differently. And is that a little bit scary? Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I still have 2 girls in college. I'm a single mom. I'm doing it on my own. And so is any time you have to go and chop and change and make something different in order to keep yourself afloat, not just physically or financially, but emotionally. Yeah, it's a big deal. So that's kind of where I am right now. And you know me, I'm always going to keep it real. And I see this as positive speak. It's talking about what's actually happening and what I need to do within my world to change that and make it different. And you come back in and you realize there are just certain things, there are certain stories that I can't hear on a daily basis anymore. I can't put myself in that position any longer and stay afloat. And it's not my responsibility to try and keep everybody happy and perfectly educated in a one-on-one setting because I'm seeing it take its toll. But there are so many different exciting things that I can do to actually, bring that knowledge to the table. Like I'm walking content, so I've got a lot going on where I'm able to share and help and heal in a way that allows people to become more proactive in their own lives if that's what they choose to do. If they don't choose to do it, that's okay too. I'm not the end all be all, nor do I have the answers to everything in the world. I just have something to offer. So yeah, this is going to be really interesting. Watch the space because I'm changing, I'm evolving, I'm growing. I've literally been back in here a couple of hours and I've gone, yeah, I can't do this anymore this way. And that's okay. And it's horrifying and actually really exciting all at the same time. That's the dichotomy of Earth, the dark and the light. Everything isn't always just one way. Everything's not yay, yay, yay all the time. And everything is not sad down in the dumps, nowhere to go and no solutions. It's both things simultaneously. And that I find exciting. That part I'm good with. I look forward to that change and that challenge. So it's going to be interesting because, I'll keep you posted as I'm changing along and so you can see what I'm choosing to do in my life, because maybe it helps one person and that's good enough for me. But yeah, so anybody out there who's stepping back into their new reality and going, this doesn't fit anymore. I'm with you. I hear you and I see you. Does it mean you throw the baby out with the bathwater? No, it just means you reinvent. And that's what I'm going to be doing. So I am going to be changing my environment to a space where I feel comfortable within it, as opposed to my objective being always making everybody else feel comfortable in my space. Because, there's a lot going on right now with divisiveness and vaccination, not vaccination, Democrat, Republican, blah, 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 blah. But one thing that I've really noticed that I think is a huge, huge issue, it's the pink elephant in the room that's going to have to be talked about at some stage, is we have an entire generation of people who are in earnest trying to do some good things, raise awareness, make some big changes, and I think that's a fantastic thing. But one of the things that they're doing is they're trying to change everything in the environment around them in order to make themselves completely comfortable. And I have a problem with that. Do I think that when you're building a new building, that it's appropriate to put in handicap accessible hallways and bathrooms? Absolutely. Do I think you tear down a historic landmark in order to do the same thing? No, I don't. I think we adapt, we change, and we evolve. And so one of the things that I'm seeing is that I've used this example in my speeches so many times, it's like someone going to the gates of Harvard and they're pounding on the gates and they're like, it's 2021, it's 2022 now, and I want to learn how to cook at this school. And they go, well, we teach law here, we don't teach cooking. I deserve to learn in this school and I demand that we do it. But we don't offer those courses. This school is for law. there is an excellent school down the road that teaches cooking. Well, I don't want to go to that school. I want to go to this school. So you need to change in order to meet my needs. And I'm seeing an awful lot of that out there, to the point where we're losing our resiliency. We're losing our capacity to adapt because we're demanding that everything in the external environment adapt to suit our needs. And I don't think that's going to do us any favors. Yeah, it looks great, you know, and it's like, oh my gosh, they're so open-minded and they're wonderful and everything, but it's creating this thing where people are losing their individuality in the process. I had someone inadvertently call me a practicer of ableism, meaning because I was an advocate of promoting education about a healthy immune system and how to accomplish that and what to do, that this was unfair to the people who didn't have that, and they deserved the same rights that I do. And I'm going, well, I didn't always have a healthy immune system. I've had Lyme disease. I've had a broken neck. I've had cancer twice. I've had, you name it, I've had it. So at any one stage in my life, I have fit that category as well. But I certainly didn't want the world around me to change in order to meet my needs. That was my job, to learn how to adapt and to grow. So it's really interesting. It's a really interesting topic, and one I want to spend a lot more time on. But I think it's something that we're going to have to really sit down and address at this stage, because like where does it stop? To the point where, it'll be interesting how it suits different people, because I hear certain people saying this and I'm going, okay, if it's one love, in respect that everybody's going to get exactly the same thing, what if you've worked hard all of your life for this, and then the government decides that, well, you're just one person and you have all of this, so I'm going to take what you have here and I'm going to give it to this over here. And then you're just sitting there going, oh. I saw something recently here in Ireland where, that if there was anything that was, considered an ancient or heritage site, which is pretty much every square inch of land in Ireland, that the government could come in and they could actually take that piece of land from the person who owns that and use it for their needs and purposes. And this is kind of an example of that. And it's just like, it's freaky. And I think we really got to keep our fingers on the pulse right now, because we're in this bizarre gray soup. I find it exciting because I like change and I like the challenge. And I went to bed last night at 6 a.m. with my jet lag, and I literally looked around me and I went, what the fuck is going on? Who was I speaking to? The ethers, the air, whoever was listening, because it was the strangest feeling. I'm sitting in my own home, in my own space, and I'm going, this feels so foreign to me. And so I know that there are a lot of people out there who are going through the same thing. So it's just important to acknowledge you're not the only ones, okay? And so we're going to get through this together. We're going to grow together, and, be kind. That's all I can say is be kind, be open-minded. And as my dad used to say, what pray tell if you were wrong? When I would be so adamant that I knew the right answer to something. What pray tell if you were wrong? And I think all of us could use a little dose of that right now, because everybody's got a lot of strong opinions about a lot of things. And as we've seen recently in the last few months, things aren't exactly the way that we've been told, and we've got to adapt and change to that. And people are beginning to realize, oh my gosh, there's a little bit more to this than meets the eye, and what I thought I was doing that was the right thing might not be the right thing, and I might have just sentenced myself to a lifetime of doing this, and and the monkey brain starts to spin, and people start freaking out. So what we do is, we don't stand in arrogance because we made one set of choices. We stand with open arms for those who chose differently and are now looking at the scenario from a different view, a different angle. Isn't that what we wanted all along? So, it does nobody any favors to say I told you so, or to disregard them, or to, they might still think they're doing exactly the right thing, and that's okay too. But we've got to learn how to stand up for ourselves, and we've got to learn how to speak with kindness. We need to learn how to assert ourselves in situations that completely don't make sense. And it's okay to talk about it and call it out with humor. I was in the coffee shop the other day, and he pulled his mask down to speak to the manager. Now remember, the mask is up in order to catch the germs, catch the COVID and everything here. And so he took his hand and he pulled his mask down to speak to somebody, and then he put it up. And then he wiped his hand on his apron, and then he did the coffee, and then he took his hand and he wiped it across the coffee and then served me my coffee. And I was just laughing because I'm not afraid of germs. You know, I consider that natural inoculation, and I'm like, rock on, whatever. Like, if it's absolutely disgusting and gross, yeah, okay. But that kind of interaction, that's how I've always interacted with the world around me. And, you know, I think it keeps the immune system strong. That's just me. That might absolutely disgust you, but I just thought it was funny because if in the same argument we're going to use a, hey, you got to have a mask on when you're doing this, I'm going, do you see what just happened there? And then they just start laughing. And if we can use humor to kind of point out the bizarre nature of what we have become, I think it makes it easier for everybody to change and adapt. So shifting out of a space of anger and being adamant about something into a space of, here, let's just take a second and let's just laugh at the fact that the lady in the queue in front of me pulled her mask down and sneezed everywhere and then put it back up because she didn't want her mask to get wet. There's a lot of them out there. You know, so let's just laugh and let's help each other along, and let's acknowledge the weirdness of the time because it's freaking so weird. That's that. So peace out, guys. I love you very much, and watch the space.